Back at it for another week of television, local television anyway. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Back at it. It is Monday, 17th day of February, 2025. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. Happy President's Day. Washington's birthday is the federal holiday. Here we celebrate President's Day. So if you have the day off today, good for you. Yeah, no government offices will be closed, no mail to lay, no banks, all that stuff. As we celebrate the third Monday in February, which is President's Day. So it's a doubleheader because it's a holiday, but we're here and we're working, but we're not going to work real hard because we never do on a Monday. Thought I'd let you know right off the top. Misty, cloudy, 28 degrees. Everybody is at 28. Ellisburg, 28. Ephrata, Moses Lake, Manson, Omak, Dryden. Everybody's at 28. Everybody's dealing with a little mist and a little fog. Pretty quiet for the next couple of days from Mother Nature. Nothing really to talk about today or tomorrow. One more band of snow comes our way Wednesday, a couple of inches maybe, and then we warm up dramatically. I mean, in a big way. We've had a long stretch of chilly weather. We've now gone 14 consecutive days of seeing our daily high temperature below normal, well below normal. That is finally going to come to an end, but we have to wait until probably the early part of next week before that finally happens. A lot of weather to talk about, and we'll do that in just a few minutes. Plus news, plus a lot of sports because it's a Monday and it's February. We always have a lot of sports. Mike Minotti has got an opinion, and we're going to play the interview I did with Jamie Howell at the Moon Productions. He is one of the board members of the Leavenworth Mountain Film Festival. Now, you aspiring Spielbergs out there, if you want to submit a film to the committee to air in March in front of a big crowd at the Fest Hall, your deadline is coming up. It is Saturday, March 1st, so get with it. Jamie Howell will talk about that when we visit with him in the back half of the program. Two slides to show for you on this President's Day. First of all, I just checked the DOT cameras out there in Ritzville. It is pretty foggy out there, especially between, say, Ritzville to Sprague and right on into Spokane. They have a dense fog advisory, and it is pretty thick out there. It's never fun to not see where you're going. Also, Highway 2 up in the Waterville area on off into Davenport. That area, you have some pretty dense fog. Highway 395 between Ritzville and the Tri-Cities, pretty thick fog, pretty dense fog, hard to see. It will burn off. But if you plan on traveling I-90 towards Spokane today, if you want to wait a few hours, you're in good shape because right now the sun is coming up. Sunset right now, 7:02, sunset tonight, 5:28, 10 hours and 26 minutes of daylight. And as I mentioned before, we are in for a big time warm up and some rain and not snow by next week. We still have to get through this week. Temperatures all this week are going to be below normal until we get to about Thursday or Friday. We'll be getting close to normal. Yesterday's high was 32. Saturday's high was 31. Normal high is 42. Yeah, 2 consecutive weeks, 14 straight days with our high temp below normal. It's going to take a little while, but we'll eventually be on the other side of that coin. But we'll be more like, towards the end of the weekend into the early part of next week. But get ready for some significant warming and some rain and not snow for the Wenatchee Valley. All right, from the National Weather Service on this holiday, the snow level today is at 2,100 feet. Whatever we have is pretty much done. I think it should be dry. It's going to be cloudy. Temperature of 38 degrees. Again, our normal high is 42, so we'll be below that, but not nearly as cold as we've seen lately. 30 for the overnight low tonight with lots of clouds. Tomorrow looks exactly like today. Lots of clouds, a couple of sun breaks, that's it. Again, a high of about 38 degrees, 28 for the overnight low on Tuesday. Tuesday night is when we start talking maybe a little bit of rain. Could wake up to a little bit of rain and then snow. 1 to 2 inches of snow Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning, and then it switches over to rain on Wednesday afternoon. A little bit cooler with a high of 36. So we're going to get some snow, and then it's going to go away. By the time we get to Thursday, we're talking sunshine, or some sunshine anyway. High of 42, lower 40s, but dry on Friday, and then here comes that warming trend. Back up to normal for our afternoon high temperature on Saturday with rain and not snow, and then maybe some significant rain by Sunday, and we'll be pushing 50 degrees. Close to it anyway, by the afternoon high on Sunday, so get ready for some warm and wet weather, but we got to get there first. Again, Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning, we could get another couple of inches of snow here in the Wenatchee Valley before it melts away. All right, that's your forecast. Grab your cup of coffee because in 2 minutes we got your headlines You're watching a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
The family at the Epplidolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epplidolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epplidolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epplidolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. Warm up with one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
Some clouds, some mist. It is 28 degrees. Pretty quiet today. Just lots of clouds and dry today and tomorrow. A little bit more snow on Tuesday night and a Wednesday. A gradual warming trend by the time we get to the weekend. 7 minutes after the hour, the last of 5 defendants in a Wenatchee drug conspiracy case that ended up going to federal court. Well, that last defendant has been sentenced to probation. 38-year-old Sean James Drummond of East Wenatchee, he pled guilty last October in U.S. District Court in Spokane to a count of possession of fentanyl with intent to distribute. Judge Mary Dimke sentenced him to time he's already served in jail plus 5 years on federal supervision. Drummond told the court that his own addiction led to him to fall in with a group of 4 other men importing and selling fentanyl throughout the Wenatchee Valley back in 2022. The group was broken up that year by the Columbia River Drug Task Force. The other 4 conspirators are all now serving or have served terms ranging from a year and a day in jail to up to 6 years in federal prison. A Bridgeport man arrested in October after a report of abuse pleaded guilty to 2nd and 3rd degree charges of child rape. 48-year-old Antonio Jimenez Ovando faces sentencing this spring in Douglas County Superior Court. Sheriff's deputies arrested Ovando after a 14-year-old child in his household disclosed incidents of sexual abuse. In exchange for his guilty plea, Douglas County prosecutors withdrew 1 charge of 4th-degree assault. They say if evaluators with the Department of Corrections agree, Ovando could be sentenced to rehabilitative treatment as part of his prison term. A man found dead on New Year's Eve while being incarcerated at the Grant County Jail died from sepsis that followed an earlier bicycle crash. That's the finding from the Grant County coroner and the multi-agency police team that investigated the death. 31-year-old Richard Lambert of Moses Lake was found deceased in his cell. An autopsy found that he died from septic peritonitis. Lambert had crashed his bike and received an abdominal injury 2 days before he was arrested. The Columbia Basin investigative team said there was no signs of other trauma, neglect, or use of force that could have contributed to his death, but the case is still under review and an independent medical expert will evaluate those findings. Wenatchee School District Superintendent Corey Callahar was fined by the State Public Disclosure Commission last week over his response to the first edition of the Wenatchee Record Mailer. That mailer was sent in 2023 ahead of the November election, and it targeted the district over its student performances and alleged ideological influence. In response, Kalahar sent emails to district employees calling the mailer, quote, political propaganda, end quote, and Communications Director Diana Haglund made a Facebook post saying the mailer had, quote, false narratives and misleading headlines. According to our media partner, the Wenatchee World, the PDC identified those communications as relevant facts. Kalahar was fined $600. Haglund was issued a warning by the PDC. The YMCA recently received its building permit for their new campus. It's planned for 5th Street and Wenatchee Avenue. Our good friend, the executive director of the Wenatchee YMCA, Dory Foster, dropped by this very program. She gave me the inside scoop on the upcoming construction timeline and how much it's going to cost. Where are we sitting now? I think a little over 22 million in the bank.
Over 22 million we've raised, which is a very successful campaign in and of itself. We have lots of things that are still variable. We have some state money that's pending. We're asking for a legislative spending request right now for this session with House Representative Ibarra and Senator Short. We redistricts through all of this, right? So we got 12, but now working with 7, they've been so receptive and they're as excited as we are. So I'm grateful for that. So lots of things planned, and most importantly, when the last less than a month, what was it, January and maybe a week or 2 of December, we raised over $4.5 million. So we have a lot of generous supporters out there, and one of those gifts was a grant actually from the Murdoch Trust, so shout out to them as well. And we got our guaranteed maximum price from Absher as our contractor. We got our guaranteed maximum price. It was actually slightly less than it was in August, which was their assumption in August because we weren't going to construction then. But anyway, long short, the board agreed that we are moving ahead with construction in March. So the team is deploying to the site March 10th. We're going to have our formal groundbreaking ceremony April 10th, and I'm told by the contractors it could be a 16 to 18 month build. So
that's actually pretty aggressive, isn't it?
That's very aggressive, but we have all of our long lead items. The fleet service shop on campus has been a great storage unit for all of that, so lots of big equipment in there that we've already pre-purchased, and so the long lead items are gone. We've got permits in hand from both the state and the city. We're ready to rock and roll. So we could be in the new building by the end of 2026.
And the demolition crew is doing things the right way. If it is recyclable, they've recycled like 200 tons of steel or something like that?
Yeah, and that we weren't even done with that. I don't even know what the final number was, but yeah, I'm really proud of that team and how they handled everything. And everybody was worried about the old timber in the old tech shop. That was all repurposed.
And finally, Tony Sandoval served his country in uniform for 4 years, the United States Army. For the last 8 years, Tony, right here in the Wenatchee Valley, has been servicing and helping out veterans who may be going through some issues as they transition back to civilian life. Tony Sandoval is going to be awarded the Community Impact Award Thursday night from our media partner, the Wenatchee World. The event will take place Thursday night at the Wenatchee Red Line. We had a chance to visit with Tony Sandoval, and he talked about the transition from military to civilian life and how he's helping out local veterans.
So once we exited the military, that just became something that was ingrained in us to not look for any sort of assistance in the things that we do. We should just know how to deal with the VA, which is a huge government program, right? We should just know how to get back into education programs. We should, because we're a veteran, we should get the stuff, and it doesn't really work that way. And so if we don't have the ability to seek and ask and follow through with getting some help seeking, then we're not going to be successful most of the time. I was in the U.S. Army and combat vet, and they said you need to shut your mouth and get back to work. You know, deal with the pain, move through it. So it kind of pulled the availability of seeking help out of the work that we did. My name is Tony Sandoval, and I work for your Washington State Department of Veterans Affairs under the Staff Sergeant Fox Suicide Prevention Grant Program, and work in Central Washington and Chelan, Douglas, Grant, and Kittitas counties to work with the population of veterans and their family members that might be experiencing suicidal ideation. when I'm working with some of these folks, veterans or their family members, they're in some pretty distressful situations. You know, we will send emergent situations to emergency, urgent to urgent, and then we're able to triage that on the backside, dealing with the great resources that we have in town, whether that's Central Washington Veterans Counseling or Wenatchee Community Acupuncture, Reuben Pine Jr., a Powerful Human, or Alethea Writing Center. We use all of our resources possible, VA healthcare, and so many more to try and get somebody to their nervous system to respond to, you know, normalizing help-seeking behavior. These are very difficult conversations because these traumas and different things have been 50 or 60 years born. Some people are just still dealing with it like it was yesterday. And some people don't even see that the trauma has caused their stuff. So there's always difficult conversations, and that's where I just kind of lean into the little experience that I have and the peer mentoring kind of model to say, you know, I don't want to do any harm here. I just want to be with you in this. And if there's some positive movement we can make, then let's do that. We want to build community around somebody. And I think when you can connect with somebody on that sort of level, a real level, and saying, are you considering or have you planned to take your own life? You know, that's a big question, and that's really challenging to do the closer you are to the person. But with a little bit of training and with just, you know, a heartfelt connection with somebody, I think you potentially be changing people's lives. If it's outside your scope of things to do, call a professional, call a friend, just make it aware to their community of people, and maybe there's somebody in that community will triage it. Saying nothing doesn't work, and that can ultimately lead to a really bad spot to deal with. What I think about the mental health situation, as far as from my state perspective, essentially is that I know that the VA healthcare is working on improving their standing, but they have not had somebody out there for a couple years as far as a mental health provider. I know that we have the federal side of Vet Center has started locating a provider here once or twice a month now, which is beneficial. Central Washington Veterans Counseling has just been, they've been our go-to and a stronghold for all services. But I think, as we were talking about earlier, I think that we have created a space in Central Washington to assist veterans and their families to come forward into the breach to start dealing with some of these traumas and heal from things. So I think it's a very robust system that needs more support. And we're going to continue to ask for more support so that we can have more people be available to this life-changing sort of services.
Congratulations, Tony. We'll see you on Thursday night. Tickets are available, by the way, for the Community Impact Awards, again, Thursday night at the Red Line. And that is the news on this President's Day. The news, we're working today, no day off for us. So news at 5, 6, and 10 tonight, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, the evening news on television, also up and running via the World Wide Web. So you can go to our homepage, NCWLIFE.com, and watch the news. You can go to our Facebook page and watch the evening newscast, or you can go to our YouTube page and watch the evening newscast. And if you see something out there or you just think something warrants a wider audience, well, we have the ticket for that. We also have an email address, and it works. I know, I get them. news@ncwlife.com. Wenatchee Wild had to win this weekend. They had 2 games at home. They failed in their endeavors. Sports in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. So if something happens to your tire on the road, we'll fix it, or we'll replace it, no questions asked. Other places make you pay extra for that kind of protection, but at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires, because more warranty means less worry, and nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from Les.
Between juggling groceries, preparing meals, and lending a helping hand, you're a hero without a cape. But who's there to support you? Aging and Adult Care honors caregivers like you, the relatives, friends, and neighbors, helping loved ones remain safely at home. Aging and Adult Care offers chore services, respite, personal care, and more. Serving Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Lincoln, Adams, and Okanagan counties, call Aging and Adult Care at 1-800-572-4459 for caregiver support.
Central Washington Water is your solution for problem water. Whether you're on a well or municipal water, they can design a clean water system custom to you. Soft water eliminates water spots and scaling on fixtures. It protects appliances from hard water damage, saving you money. Soft water reduces soap usage that causes skin irritation and is a healthier choice to drink. Call for a free in-home consultation or stop by the store to have your water tested. Central Washington Water, your best water solution for home, pool, and spa.
21 minutes after the hour, the Four Nations face-off continues tonight in Boston. Some very entertaining games in Montreal over the weekend. You probably saw the United States pulling out that 3-1 win over Canada. That match that saw 3 brawls in the first 9 seconds. Now, these two teams may meet again in the championship on Thursday. If Canada or Finland win in regulation, whoever wins in regulation will go to the championship, but they have to win in regulation. The Americans have already clinched a spot in the final regardless of today's outcome against Sweden. All right, men's college basketball scores from over the weekend. Washington stays alive to make the Big Ten postseason tournament. They beat Penn State on the road. Eastern just past Idaho. Gonzaga ripped up on Pepperdine on Saturday. St. Mary's got by Washington State. Women's college basketball, there are your scores. Haley Van Lith scored 11 points. Number 11 TCU beat Arizona in Tucson 85-73. And the Huskies gave number 6 Southern Cal all they wanted yesterday. But in the end, Southern Cal pulled out the victory. Well, the Wenatchee Wild, they dropped 2 over the weekend in games they pretty much had to win to stay in the playoff hunt. Wenatchee played their 3rd straight overtime game on Friday. The Winterhawks winning 6-5. Austin Andrade had the call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
Into his net, he's made 4 saves in the opening 8 minutes. Wild trying to rush this one ahead. Lucas Sherbina driving on. Ricchetti scores from the right circle! Lucas Sherbina with the hot hand, and the Wild hit the scoreboard first. It's 1-0. Period number 1, Spencer is loose. Spencer trying to get to the net, he scores! Backhand underneath, Andre Sabatek! Take it and go! 2-0 Wenatchee.
They'll reset with the quarterback. Jugnoff tip score. Portland on the board just like that as they were announcing the goal. Kyle Chizowski grabs his 33rd of the year.
Left point slung on and a kick save right off the pads. Long Karen. Wild collected. Mannix right circle, plays it down for Dimitrov. Dimitrov taps one, back door, waiting, Rashad, they score! Reed Andreessen reads the defense and the angle perfectly and pitches it home, and the Wild are back in front by 2. Played up the left wing, looking for Chizowski, coming over the line, Portland with the entry, tipped in front, they score. Alex Weiermeyer. Wenatchee Wild down a man. Coming up here in a sec, Dawson Seitz picks up tripping. Call fired home, they score! Back door, Cooper, and it's back to a 2-goal lead for Wenatchee. Through neutral ice, catches Buttazzoni on the right wing board. Sends it down the circle, looking for Chizowski. Tip in front, and they got it to go. The Winterhawks score and make this a 4-3 game. Weiermeyer shoved off his feet by Mannix, coming over the line just as he got rid of it. Wild enter 3-on-2. Andreessen across for Cooper. He scores! Miles Cooper! His 4-on-4 made it 4-2. His 4-on-4 makes it 5-3. Special teams coming through for the Wild in that game against the Brandon Wheat Kings on the East Division road trip. A whole stretch of the schedule where Ty Spencer looked really, really good. This shot from the left point. Jugnoff gets a tip. It looked pretty good for the Portland fans, and that one tipped in Over the line for Zakreski. Glides in on the end boards. Gets leaned into the wall there, right at the Zamboni door with Andreessen. At the right point, Southern slings it through. Save. Backdoor rebound. They score. And this game is tied. Gets a hip and a stick. Got him spun off his feet. Handed back. Sharp angle try. Garrett swats it aside. Trying to jam it home. It is still in front of the net. Now they throw it home and score. And the Winterhawks take it 6-5. Zakreski with a throw. And Portland, halfway through the overtime, sends the Winterhawks on to Kent for a Saturday night showdown with 2 points.
That was Friday. On Saturday, neither the Wild nor the Seattle Thunderbirds could find the back of the net until the third period, and when the goals finally came, it was all Seattle. Once again, here's Austin Drade.
Ran into a couple of Seattle players, and headed the other way is Hayden Pakala from Okotoks, Alberta. Acquired at the Christmas break, trying to send it along the goal line. They get a carom off the G, and it's in. It sneaks home just through that far post. And the Seattle Thunderbirds have made this a 1-0 game with Sawyer Mays. So Pakala picks up the assist on it as Sherman drives it to the net, looking for a forehand chance. That one's in. He scores. And it's a 2-0 lead just like that for the Thunderbirds. Pikash brings it ahead at the red line, at the blue line. Pikash fires it on just inside the back post and the crossbar, and Pikash scores. It's a 3-0 game. That one, a GPS targeted shot. The redirect from Friesen off the end glass with 1:40 to go. 3-0 lead for the Thunderbirds. All 3 goals scored in the third period. A long toss, it's in. A toss from beyond the blue line. Holbertson with the throw.
So the Wild have now lost 6 straight. They fall to 10th place in the Western Conference standings. There are 14 games left. The top 8 teams in each conference advance to the playoffs. So right now they're on the outside looking in. Seattle comes calling again this Friday at 7. All right, high school basketball in the boys 1A District 5 tournament. There's your scoreboard from over the weekend on Friday. What does this mean? Cashmere will host Keona Benton tomorrow. Wapato will be at Chelan. So Chelan and Cashmere in the boys still alive. The girls 1A District 5 tournament. There are your scores from over the weekend. What does all that mean? Zilla and Cashmere will do battle Friday at Wenatchee High School. Both teams will move on to state. The Cascade girls will be at Wapato tomorrow, and Chelan will be at Natchez Valley tomorrow to stay alive. The boys 2B District 5 tournament. There are your scores from Moses Lake over the weekend, and this means in Moses Lake on Saturday, Okanagan will take on Tri-Cities Prep. Both teams will move on to state. In the girls 2B District 5 tournament, there are your scores. Again, all the games were in Moses Lake, and it sets up some pretty good battles in Moses Lake this Saturday. It'll be Brewster and Cle Elum and Tri-Cities Prep and Okanagan. All 4 of those teams, by the way, will move on to state. The boys 1B District 5 tournament. There is your scoreboard in Waterville. Mansfield over Cascade Christian. Soap Lake stays alive. They defeat Lewis and Clark. So here's your 1B schedule coming up for the District 5 tournament. At Moses Lake Christian, Waterville Mansfield will take on Oroville tomorrow, and Soap Lake will take on Moses Lake Christian in the other semifinal. The 2 winners will play for the championship. Girls 1B District 5 tournament over the weekend. Waterville Mansfield demolished Soap Lake. Pateros demolished Wilson Creek. So this Thursday at Wenatchee High School, it'll be Waterville and Pateros with a winner to state, and Soap Lake will take on Wilson Creek in a loser-out game. We got basketball tomorrow. The Eastmont Wildcats will take on the Sunnyside Grizzlies in the Big 9 District 5 play-in game at Eastmont High School. That'll be streaming only at 6 o'clock with Grant Olson on the call. Go Wildcats. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. At 29 minutes after the hour, the obscure holiday isn't an obscure holiday. It's President's Day, unless you work for the federal government, in which case it's Washington's birthday. It has never been anything federally other than Washington's birthday. This is a very strange holiday. It's always the 3rd Monday in February, and it has been since 1970. There is no agreement on the actual name of the holiday. There's no agreement on which presidents are being honored. They don't even know something as simple as whether there's an apostrophe in presidents. Of course, again, the U.S. government still calls it Washington's birthday. They always have, but there are 15 different names for today's holiday spread out amongst the states. Now, for those states who call it President's Day with the apostrophe after the S, like you see there, that's Hawaii, New Mexico, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Texas, Vermont, and Washington, our state. The apostrophe in the presidents between the T and the S, in Alaska, Idaho, Maryland, Nebraska, New Hampshire, Tennessee, West Virginia, and Wyoming. No apostrophe at all in presidents, Nevada and Oregon. In Maine, it's Washington's birthday, President's Day. In Arizona, it's Lincoln Washington President's Day. In Virginia, it's George Washington Day, and that makes sense, George Washington being a Virginian. Washington's birthday as a state in Connecticut, Florida, Illinois, Iowa, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, North Carolina, New Jersey, and New York. It's called Lincoln's and Washington's birthday in Montana. In Colorado and Ohio, today is Washington Lincoln Day. In Utah, it's Washington and Lincoln Day. In Minnesota, it's Washington's and Lincoln's birthday. In Alabama, it's George Washington Thomas Jefferson birthday. In Arkansas, they celebrate George Washington's birthday and Daisy Bates Day. California just calls it the third Monday in February. That's just the generic name. And finally, if you live in Indiana, Georgia, or Delaware, you don't have to worry about it at all because they don't even observe the holiday today. States are, of course, under no obligation to observe federal holidays. Most of them do, but in Indiana, Georgia, and Delaware, if you work for the state, you're going to work. They don't even celebrate it there. Happy President's Day with an apostrophe after the S in this state. We need to get that straightened out. That's just silly. It's 31 minutes after the hour today in history. The election of 1800 finally came to an end. It was a political deal, as these things do, on February 17th, 1801. It was a tie in the Electoral College between Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr. Eventually, as you know by now, Thomas Jefferson got the gig. Now, this is before the 12th Amendment to the Constitution, but under the rules at the time, each member of the Electoral College got 2 votes, and there was no distinction made between the electoral votes for president and the electoral votes for vice president. When it was all said and done, Thomas Jefferson got 73 electoral votes, and Aaron Burr got 73 electoral votes. In comes Alexander Hamilton. He didn't much care for Thomas Jefferson, but he really didn't like Aaron Burr. So Alexander Hamilton convinced a number of Federalists in the Electoral College to switch their support to Thomas Jefferson. And on the 36th ballot of the contingent election, Thomas Jefferson finally got the gig. And then they stepped in and said, we need to fix this. And now we have the 12th Amendment. That was 224 years ago today. One person, one vote. 61 years ago today, February 17th, 1964, the case was Westbury v. Saunders. The Supreme Court of the United States rules that congressional districts have to be approximately equal in population. Article 1 of the Constitution requires that members of the United States House be apportioned by population among the states, but nowhere in Article 1 of the United States Constitution did it say that states are required to establish districts that are roughly equal in population. The Supreme Court stepped in on this state 61 years ago and said, nah, you got to do that too. That was on the state in 64. And finally, 51 years ago today, a bizarre case with local ties. Robert Preston, a disgruntled U.S. Army private, buzzes the White House in a stolen helicopter, landed it on the South Lawn. He was in the Army. He enlisted in the Army because he wanted to be a helicopter pilot, Robert Preston, but he did not graduate from helicopter training, and he lost his opportunity to become a pilot. But he was bound by his enlistment. He had to serve 4 years in the Army. So the Army sent him to Fort Meade in Maryland as a helicopter mechanic. He was upset. He said, I'm a good helicopter pilot, and I'm going to prove it. So he stole the helicopter, flew it to the White House lawn. Some 300 rounds were fired at the helicopter. Preston got hit 5 times, but he wasn't hurt. He got out of the helicopter, started running towards the White House. He was tackled to the ground by Secret Service agents. He was eventually discharged from the Army, and then Robert Preston got married. In 1982, he raised his wife's 2 daughters in Ephrata, Washington. Robert Preston would die of cancer in Ephrata, July 21st, 2009. Interesting indeed. And finally, birthdays. 3 heavenly birthdays. Wally Pipp, who went from a great first baseman to an analogy, we all know the story of Wally Pipp, the famous headache in June of 1925. Miller Huggins, the manager of the Yankees, says, Wally, sit for the day. We're going to put this Gehrig kid in to be Wally Pipped, is to take the day off or go on vacation and to discover that the person who replaced you while you were gone is better at your job than you are. Wally Pipp, born in the state in 1893. The legendary and terribly underrated Jim Brown. Born in the state in 1936, Jim Brown died 2 years ago at the age of 87. Honored before the 2020 College Football Playoff National Championship as the greatest college football player of all time. He may be the greatest pro football player of all time. Jim Brown, born in the state in 1936. Next up on the birthdays, the legendary Gene Pitney. I miss Gene Pitney. The guy was a legend, terribly underrated. He was finally inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2002. Should have been done a lot earlier than that. Just listen to the music and you'll see why. And happy 62nd birthday to Michael Jordan, the first billionaire player in NBA history. He is the fourth richest African American in this country. He's worth about $3.5 billion. He's 62 years old today. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors. Heat and air, call Alpine Air. Their Cash for Clunkers program is out. If your HVAC system isn't running the way it should be, switch the whole thing out and get a big fat rebate. For details, call Alpine Air. Mike Magnotti's opinion is about living in the past. He's not a big fan of it. And then my good friend Jamie Howell will talk to you filmmakers out there. You want to submit a film to the Leavenworth Mountain Film Festival. You're running out of time. Jamie Howell will join me when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel. This March, Lake Chelan welcomes food and wine lovers to an unforgettable experience. Taste Chelan. 16 of the Valley's top wineries and restaurants create the perfect pairing of fine wines and Epicurean delights. With 4 unique winery tracks and 5 weekends to explore, every visit offers something fresh and exciting. From your first sip to the last bite, every moment is a delicious adventure, so don't wait. Tickets are selling fast. Visit TasteChelan.com today. Braden, we were talking about a nice, slow, safe investment. When I think slow, I think conservative. Let's shift from second to fourth. Give me an example of what you would say maybe a fast investment, and who's that for as opposed to a slow investment?
I feel like somebody that wants to do a fast or maybe a fastest way to grow money would be somebody that just wants to be more involved, right? That wants to be more moving parts. You're not going to have your money sitting there doing nothing. You want to learn about tax arbitrage. You want to learn about, the movement of money, the velocity of money, and how do corporations and banks, how do they utilize money? How do they make money on the spread? How do they make money on all of these different buckets when there's so many different asset classes out there, right? Mutual funds, 401k, stocks, bonds, all these different things. There's so many other ways where you can grow money in a fixed asset class, and you can pull money in and out. You can take loans against your own money, and you can leverage that tax-free into other investments. And so you can be owning and controlling 2 assets and still growing in both of them and still controlling both of them. It's kind of like, would you rather own 1 asset or 2? So it's the person that wants to really dive a lot deeper into how money functions and how it works, right? How does the system work? And that's a huge thing. People don't know how the system works. So they just let their money sit. And guess what? When you let your money sit, other people will use your money and they'll make a lot of money on your money. And that's okay if that's what you're okay with. But most of the people we work with, they want to grow their money faster and more efficiently.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, Bruce Springsteen is a Jersey boy, and that's pretty cool. But his song, Glory Days, always kind of bothered me. I always thought it was depressing, particularly the line, well, time slips away and leaves you with nothing, mister, but boring stories to tell of. Now, this is my goal. I never want my glory days to be behind me. I always want them to be something ahead. No matter how old we get, I think we ought to need to keep stretching ourselves, keep trying to top the good stuff of our past. Glory days? Maybe sometime tomorrow. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
It's the NCWLIFE Community Calendar, a presentation of Apple Valley Honda. The Special Olympics Washington Winter Games returns to the Wenatchee Valley for the 35th year, the weekend of February 28th. 900 volunteers are needed to assist more than 1,200 participants and coaches throughout its 3-day run. From assisting on the slopes of Mission Ridge to keeping score of basketball games, no special skill is required. To volunteer, please visit the website on the screen.
Make your home your winter escape with Boswell's. Right now, save 10% on all qualifying recliners and ottomans, sofas, and home office chairs. Or save $400 on any motorized stressless power recliner. Plus, save $200 on 4 stressless dining chairs designed to follow your body's every movement. Shop Boswell's, 2915 Easy Street in Wenatchee.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
When you've been in business for 40 years, it's because you understand change and you put members first, always. Now Works is announcing a change in their membership model. Up to 6 people on one membership that you can mix and match. The more people, the bigger the discounts. Introducing the Works shared membership model. One membership, friends and family and flexibility. Works, the cleanest, friendliest, most helpful gyms you and your friends will ever join.
Welcome back to the program. It is back after a rather lengthy hiatus. It's hard to believe that COVID is still affecting events, popular events, cultural events in our area. But thank goodness, since that baby is all but 86, it's time to bring it back. The Leavenworth Mountain Film Festival returns in March. If you're a filmmaker, good, bad, or otherwise, you're going to want to submit your film to this guy and his crew. Jamie Howell from Howell at the Moon Productions is back. I haven't seen you in a long time, my friend.
Well, I've been around. It's been busy, though. You know, we did hold up a little bit for COVID, didn't we, though?
Yeah, we did.
And I think now it's a good time. I mean, people have settled. We're back out in the world, and it's time to bring back some of these big events that we used to love. And
what did COVID do to Howell at the Moon Productions? Because you have commercial clients, and you have other clients, governmental clients, things like that. Did you kind of have a dead period as well?
You know, the need for video never went away.
That's true. So, if anything, it increased.
Yeah, exactly. It did. We relied on it even more, and people became accustomed to using Zoom, and the video interface has just gotten more and more prevalent. So I've got plenty to do.
Leavenworth Mountain Film Festival, accent on mountain. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Was around for quite some time. COVID 86'd it. You probably could have brought it back even a couple of years ago, but you and your crew decided we'll wait a little bit, get a little more under our feet, and then we'll bring it back. So talk about the thought process of this is the year, let's do it now again.
Yeah, you're right. So Shane Wilder of Icicle TV up in Leavenworth kind of kicked this thing off, and it ran 7 years in a row, and it was growing pretty substantially. We filled up the fest hall every year and had all kinds of fun, like the free limo rides and red carpets, and so it was pretty sad when 2020 we had to pull the plug. Literally we were ready to launch it because
COVID came right when the festival
because it was going to be in April, and then it was March when COVID really hit, so pulled the plug very suddenly. I mean, I guess some of the thinking was we're a little tired. There's a lot of work to put on a film festival, but after a couple of years, everybody was really wished it was back, and so I think we got the message. The chamber stepped up and said, "Hey, what do you guys think about bringing this back?" And they put some financial backing behind it that made it possible for us to hit the ground running again. So we're happy to have it back, and it'll be back this March.
There are some prerequisites. Jamie's going to join us again as we get closer to the actual festival itself. Is March 22nd, but we have a hard deadline for you folks who want to submit films to the board, and then there'll be a vetting process. We'll talk about that. The hard deadline for filmmakers to get their finished product to you is
March 1.
March 1st.
March 1st. So we got a whole month.
Okay, but it takes, as you well know, it takes a good time. If you're going to be creative with lots of edits and layers and elements to it, it takes a long time. Even for a 10-minute film, it takes a long time.
Absolutely, it does. It can take years for a half-hour film or something. So most filmmakers who would be entering have probably already begun that project or completed it. It's in the can. But certainly, if people want to, this lights a fire for them, get a piece together in time for a March 1 submission, great. I mean, we want to see it. We will have films from all over the world in this film festival, but the ones we really cherish are the ones that come from right here. And so they're not always a lot of films, not enough coming out of this region every year to put on a film festival just with that. But those are the ones we really want to show. Those are the ones we love showing at the Leavenworth Mountain Film Festival.
There's some things that you should know about. First of all, it needs to be outdoor related. That's number one. That's the overall theme. If you submit a 5-minute film about the history of the Bronze Age, you probably
won't make it. Yeah.
Won't be considered. It'll probably be pretty boring too.
Unless it was rock climbing in the Bronze Age, then
there you go.
That could go.
There you go. You don't want it to be too long. The shorter the better. 10 minutes is about the max, right? Really?
Yeah, I mean 15 probably a max, but you're right. I mean it's just a one-night festival. About 2 hours with some halftime entertainment, which is kind of rare for a film festival. But yeah, so we're looking for films that are anywhere from 2 minutes to 15 minutes. And so we will then curate a selection of those based on the submissions. We sit and we watch them and drink pizza and vote on, drink beer and eat pizza.
Drink well,
all the healthy stuff. Yeah. But
when you get older, you'll eventually drink pizza. Trust me on that. Anyway.
I'm looking forward to that. So it's a fun process to look at all the submissions. It's hard to choose sometimes, but the idea is to get the best mix of films, so it's a great night.
It's amazing what you can do with just one of these.
One
of these and a rudimentary editing software, and you can do some pretty cool stuff.
It's really about the storytelling. I mean, we have access to the technology now to do great things, without spending a whole lot of money. But really what makes the difference is how good are you at conveying that emotion, conveying that message? And so that's what makes a really strong film.
So the films are submitted. You got to get them into Jamie. You'll do it through the website.
That's right.
On March 1st. Go ahead.
LeavenworthFilmFestival.org. So it's free to submit. That's not always the case for film festivals either. So you just go online. There's a submission form. Fill it out. Upload the file, and we'll take a look.
Yep. It's pretty straightforward. Again, the only prerequisite has to have something to do with the outdoors. It would be better if you shot the film somewhere locally, of course, but they'll take anything. And then the vetting process begins. You're drinking your pizza, you're eating your beer.
Eat your beer, yeah.
And you have yourself and a group.
Yeah.
And you'll take all the submissions and then do what?
Well, we have a rubric, so it gets scored. So we try to be, fairly empirical about it. But really, it's about the films we love. You walk out of the room, you've seen 7 films. There are always a couple that you go, wow, I really remember that one, and those are the ones we want to pick. So, and in terms of subject matter, it doesn't have to be locally shot, but you're right, outdoor recreation related. So skiing, surfing, rock climbing, hiking, fishing. I mean, it can be really anything that has to do with recreating outside.
And then it's vetted, and then the big party is on March 22nd. You're going to do the whole 9 yards again, the red carpet and the
limo.
Oh wow!
The whole works. Yeah, your free limo rides. You come up, we'll spin you around the block in the limo so you can get out like you're the real deal, and then hit the red carpet. We'll have the paparazzi.
All the films that made it to the festival will be screened in one night, which is why they need to be short.
That's right. So, yeah, it's about 2.5 hour evening, and like I said, with some live halftime entertainment, which we'll announce soon.
And then awards, is it voted on by,
we haven't had awards. Do you think we should?
No, I don't.
No, yeah, we haven't done that in the past.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think any kind of creative process should be judged on its own merits and not, this is the best.
Well,
I mean, who's to say
we
what's the best?
We do a lot of that in the world, but
right.
Yeah, we don't at the Leavenworth Mountain Film Festival. I think the prize is being in the festival.
What's the ultimate goal? Finding maybe some talent that people say, I have an eye for this. Maybe this is a good place to go, a good direction. I'm sure you've planted seeds in the past with the previous years of 10 years ago or so.
Yeah,
that
certainly.
these people have gone on to do some really cool stuff.
Yeah, and people have been motivated to make films themselves because this is here, so that's great. We love to see filmmakers trying things out. So certainly, yes, inspiring filmmakers to do good work and giving them an outlet to show it is important, but it's also for the general public, right? We want them to connect to the outdoors. We have this incredible resource around us, outside, the mountains, the rivers, ski hills and golf courses. We really have everything we can imagine in close proximity, and so we want people to connect with that, and that's what these films help you do.
For somebody who's never made a film, but they say, I think I want to take a shot at it, give me some tips. You talk about the most important thing is to be able to tell a coherent story, and you can, if you don't have a good screenplay and you don't have a good story to tell and storyboards to reflect what you want to do in the final product, you got to start with the story.
Yeah, filmmaking is a kind of a time-consuming process. You all know here from doing broadcast work, it's there's a lot of collecting footage, which is probably the most fun part, right? You're out in the woods, you're out, doing something great and filming it. The hard part is then coming back and sorting through all of that footage you've got and then piecing together something that is exciting and brings the emotions that you were experiencing outside. So that's really, I think it takes a lot of patience. You've got to listen to yourself. I think you've got to listen to those shots that really kind of make you go, wow. Those are the shots. Take that shot.
Great cinematography and special effects and everything is great to a certain extent, but you can't rely on all of that stuff in order to get your message across.
Well, and especially when it's more of a documentary form, right? If it's a scripted form, that's different, right? You have time to set everything up and make sure, the Bob Dylan picture is situated just right, right? In a documentary setting, when you're out filming somebody, skiing, you don't know really what's going to happen, and you're just running and gunning, right? Doing the best you can to get the best footage you can, and so happy accidents happen, and sometimes the footage is terrible. So.
But any kind of film, as long as it's outdoor related, it can be submitted. It could be a documentary. It could be a standalone 10-minute story.
Absolutely.
A scripted story. It could be. It doesn't matter.
It could be. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Could be a scripted piece about outdoor recreation. We haven't had many of those. Most of them, the sports films are usually about real people doing real things. But there are definitely some commercial efforts out there. You'll see big brands putting out some pretty awesome scripted films, short films as commercials that are really kind of worth watching. In fact, I think we'll have one or two in the film festival this year.
Wow, that's good. Talk about your committee. Who makes up the folks who will be vetting all of these films? Because you guys got a big chore ahead of you.
Oh, it's not so big. It's a good chore. But what a great team. Like I said, Shane Wilder from Icicle TV. We have Ann Hesberg, who's a counts person up in Leavenworth. We've got Rex Flake and Heidi Flake. Rex was a big mountain biker, is a big mountain biker. Was in our movie Pedal Driven way back when. And and me and Amelia Egbert, who doesn't live here anymore, but was here and very busy in the film industry here in town. So she's helping from where she lives in Utah, but we'll be back for the festival. So it's actually a small team right now, but it's a good one.
You pretty pumped to see it's back again?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was missed. I think people will be really happy to have it back.
Everything you need to know is on the LeavenworthFilmFestival.org website. How to submit a film, the guidelines. You can submit your film on the website. You can get a hold of the sponsors. You can look at some of the past film festivals, the galleries. Well, it's a well-done website. Obviously, you had nothing to do with it.
I didn't do that. Shane did that,
Yeah, I'm sure about that.
Got good people on the team.
This is a rare treat, Jamie. I don't get to see too often. What else is coming up the hopper that we need to know about that you have your, what kind of pie do you have your finger in right now?
Well, a lot of them actually, but there's more things coming back this year in Leavenworth, and a big one is going to be Bavarian Bike and Brews, which was a beloved mountain bike event that went away with COVID. And so we're bringing back that, not this group, but another one, as the Leavenworth Bike Fest. And it's going to be a much expanded event with, big music, a concert in the middle, and gravel racing. So I'd love to come talk to you about that one.
Absolutely. And we'll have you on before the actual film festival to get people involved in that. One last question before I cut you loose. You have a lot of clients, you do a lot of commercial work right now for contracted clients. Would you get to just be creative and do what Jamie wants to do, like Pedal Driven, which kind of puts you on the map, really, of anything? What do you like to shoot for fun, for entertainment purposes that you want to make just Jamie being Jamie without having a set of guidelines that somebody writing a check says this is what you have to do?
Well, wouldn't you be interested to know that when I get to do whatever I want to do creatively, it doesn't mean picking up a camera for me. I'm basically a writer at heart, and so I'm working on a screenplay with a friend of mine that is a creative outlet and something I'm really excited about. So, you know, a movie, right? We're writing a movie, so
oh, cool!
And it has something to do with this area, so it's a lot of fun.
I've been working on a screenplay off and on for, I don't know, a couple of years. It's a story of a mermaid who lives under the sea, but she really wants to explore the world outside of the sea. She wants to go out and see the world beyond
and
the
her
ocean
father
depth.
is maybe Neptune.
Yeah, I've been working on that.
Sounds like a good story.
Yeah, I'm going to pitch it to maybe Disney or Pixar or something.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
So I'll see what happens. I've been writing it for 15, 20 years now. So I think it's got a
Hope nobody
chance.
catches on to that idea.
Jamie Howell of Howl at the Moon Productions, Leavenworth Filmfestival.org. Everything you need to know is right there on the website. It's good to see you, my friend.
Likewise. Nice to see you.
All right. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and we will be right back.
Hey there folks, Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to Blueberry Hills to experience some real treats. Take a look at our homemade cream pies, our amazing cheesecakes, and don't forget our famous banana pudding. Remember, we're more than just great treats. People come from all over the world to experience what has been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
The agents of Kennedy Real Estate Group are committed to providing the ideal client experience. We believe in the power of relationships. Why? Because we don't just work here, we live here. From the nonprofits we serve, the parks where we play, and the local businesses we support, our team understands the value of living in the Wenatchee Valley. Let's begin your real estate story.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. With professional grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
It's a tad foggy, misty, and cloudy up Lake Wenatchee way, as you see behind me, and same deal down here. It's continued kind of a misty, almost an incremental super light rain, 28 degrees here in the Wenatchee Valley. We're not going to get anywhere near our normal high temperature for this whole week. This streak of days without our high temperature getting to normal is going to go on for about 20 days before we get to the weekend, and we'll finally get up to normal. And there's a big warm-up coming our way. Again, it's going to take a little while, but it's coming. The long-term forecast from the Climate Prediction Center is calling for warmer and wetter weather for next week. This is next week. As you can see, we have a better than 50-50 chance of seeing warmer than normal temperatures and a very good chance of seeing more precipitation than we normally see, but that would be in the form of rain and not snow, except for the upper elevation. So we're finally going to get away from this long stretch of cold temperatures. We only got to 31 on Saturday, 32 yesterday. Our normal high is 42. Not only have we not been getting to our normal high temperature for this 14 straight days, we haven't even been close. That is going to change once we get there. From the National Weather Service, we're pretty much done with the precipitation. It's just going to be cloudy and gray for the rest of the day today, and a high near 38. Cloudy tonight, 30 for the overnight low. Tomorrow, pretty much like today. Lots of clouds, lots of gray, the occasional spittles of light rain. No snow in the forecast on Tuesday. with a high of 38. Now, in the wee small hours of Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, here comes the next band of snow. Not a big one, couple of inches maybe in the Wenatchee Valley Tuesday night into Wednesday. Then it goes away because it's going to switch over to a rain mix on Wednesday with a high of 36. So whatever snow we get, not going to last very long. Snow level goes down Wednesday night, but there's no precipitation associated with it. Sunshine, partly sunny on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and rain, not snow, for the Wenatchee Valley. That's it for us. Enjoy your holiday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.